Well, hey everyone, welcome to a garden stroll. I wasn't sure if this would happen today or not, but relatively speaking, certainly compared to last week, a beautiful day. No hat, no gloves. I mean, I wouldn't be out here for a long time without gloves, but it's livable from a human standpoint. There are some things I want to show you in the garden. I am going to try to do my best to avoid showing you any of the winter containers because that's a separate video. But let's go take a look around the garden. I thought we could take a look today at the things that are looking good right now, because I think it's good to take note of these things. We'll see how they do over winter, but you know, when we're assessing what plants to put into the garden, I think noting how long plants look good into the year is important. So I thought we'd stroll around and do that. I have these two down here, both of whom need to get a really good brushing. We have to take the Christmas card picture today. Not looking forward to it, honestly. The Christmas card, by the way, only ever features the dogs, and that's been the way it's been for since 2004. Actually, the only cards we've ever sent out have only featured the dogs. But ever since we got our first Newfoundland in 2004, we have only sent out dog pictures. So, okay, let's just stroll around here a little bit. I want to start right here with the Baptisia, which gets this kind of, I think this is just like Baptisia australis. I don't think this is the native one, to be honest. But it turns this, you know, quite black leaf color. And then you get the pods, which kind of have a nice little shake to them. Yeah, I don't let this stand all winter usually, but I think right now there's some interest there, particularly when you're juxtaposed by the boxwood over here. This is a skylight boxwood from Better Boxwood, and that's green. It's not Green Mountain. It's green gem. That's a green gem, and this is a skylight. And you can kind of see the differences in growth habits on this. Skylight is one that gets tall and narrow, and this one I am going to kind of prune up quite tight to keep that pyramidal form. Some of the other ones I have planted, you know, over there, we're going to keep quite natural. I point this one out, you know, quite often, but you know, the seed heads of clematis are among my favorite things. I think they're so beautiful and charming. There's obviously a lot that's interesting over here, but that's because we're mostly dealing with evergreens. I'll just point out quickly that the Chamaecyparis soft serve, gosh, I've been so happy with these trees. Just the most beautiful foliage. There is some dead needling inside. I think that's totally normal. I feel like these grew really, sorry about the plane. I feel like these grew really well. They were fairly big when we got them, but they definitely put some size on. And keep in mind, we only planted these last year, so May would have been 1 year in the ground for them. The Swiss stone pine, obviously beautiful, but slower growing, and we knew that, which is a shame. I really wish that guy would bulk up quickly. Oh, here, I wanted to show you this guy right here. So this is just Agastache Blue Fortune. The only one, honestly, that has ever really done well for me. But a couple of things to note here. These stems have actually gotten stiffer, I would say. What's left here on the seed heads, there's actually like a little bit of color left on them. Not that you can see it unless you get close, but those are showing no signs of falling apart. Really nice structure here, I think. So, you know, I think this is really good winter form. We'll see how long it holds this, but I think that's very good. I'll just quickly point out the Euphorbia Ascot Rainbow, which is looking fully flopped. I mean, obviously got frozen, but you know, this will stay quite evergreen in some areas. Obviously, it's a little bit evergreen here. It's not great. I leave all this foliage standing. This is questionably hardy here. It did come back for me last year. We had a very mild winter. So I just let it all stand, hoping that it'll make it through, and we'll see. I don't know. I don't really count on it, but it did all come back for me last year, which was quite nice. Now, obviously, hydrangeas are great winter interest. I would say some of the best looking ones from a winter interest standpoint are these bobos, which are holding their flowers really well. Obviously, Limelight is doing that too, but these have much smaller little flowers in them. Those, I think that's a pretty good look. Again, you know, I'm looking for form and structure and things like that. I do want to walk out to just relook at this quite often, but again, the Hackaloa macra, particularly out here at the end of the road, as it dries, it tends to stand up even taller. So these are fully obscuring the end of the driveway and the sign and all that stuff now. But they are quite tall, great sound to them. Lots of seed heads on them there. The reason I talk about this one all the time is because it looks very, very good. Millennia Transparent is still standing up. That won't happen once we get some heavy snow. That one does flop, so it doesn't always look great. Pygnanthemum muticum. I think this is, now granted we're dealing with gray, which is not the color we generally want, but standing up nice and tall. Interesting thing, when it does snow, these each get little caps of snow on them. Kind of pretty in that regard. Over here we've got a couple of things that will stay basically evergreen. Geranium macrorrhizum will basically stay this color. And then Carrick's Flocka Blue Zinger. Asterisks by that one, a little aggressive in some places. Be watchful. Carrick's Plantaginia is looking quite good still. I really like this one. This is plantain sedge or seersucker sedge. Becoming quickly one of my favorites, actually. And here's spine tingler epimedium, looking quite green as well. Surprisingly so, I would say. We still have a little bit of color. These are some plugs of Serostigma, right? Hardy plumbago. Am I right on the botanical name there? Anyway, still holding on to their red color, which is quite pretty. So when these become, this should be fill in as a ground cover. Should have a nice big patch of red there. Carrick's Feather Falls. Look at this. Look at that. I think those are alliums coming up. Oops. A little early, kids. Oh yeah, they're all over. Yeah, I think some alliums came up. That's interesting. Carrick's Feather Falls. You would never know that snow and frost have hit this. We'll keep watching this one throughout the winter. But to me, this looks, I mean, maybe it's a little less color than it would be in the middle of summer, but still looking absolutely outstanding. Now, the iris over there looks wretched. Go in there and cut those back at any time. This is Carrick's Rosea, I believe, with some nice interesting color on it. And you know, the foliage is this kind of interesting thing that won't stand up. Obviously when it snows, that will be hidden by the snow, but we look for color wherever we can. This is Dryopteris brillians, showing a nice green color, kind of brilliant in that regard. Stackies, Bethany here. Another one that will look beautiful when there's a blanket of snow here. This structure standing up through snow will be very pretty. Some of these alliums are hanging on a little bit, but they're, you know, they'll fall apart pretty quickly there. Oh, I want to show you over here the winter color on Siberian cypress, Microbiota decussata. It gets, so some people might not like this, but it gets this gorgeous copper color. I mean, I think this is really quite pretty. Beautiful And you can see it's still kind of green underneath there, but beautiful kind of coppery color on it. Another reason why I really, really, really like that plant. I'm going to say that lamb's ear, not a plant that shines in winter. That is an ugly mess. This is actually the reason why I don't love lamb's ear, is because this is such a messy, god-awful look. It's easier to clean up in spring than it is now, so I just let it stand. This is Amsonia string theory, which we've been looking at quite a bit through fall. Still really looking, it never really got super, super yellow, this one. Probably had to do with timing of when cold came and all that. But still looking beautiful here in this sort of green color. And these stems are plenty stiff. So I'll bet you they'll hold up to some snow load. A little bit of it anyway. In terms of structure, I would say this Aurelia silver umbrella, which is a grafted Aurelia, you know, certainly wins some awards, because even though obviously it's defoliated, it's really beautiful structure in the garden. One more great thing to love about that hard to find plant. Just to give you an update, because it's been a little bit, on the hornbeam. So you can see that the hornbeam leaves have started sort of curling up and you're bronzing up a bit, but these should stay on the tree for most of the winter, which is a really nice look to provide a little bit of screening in a situation. Oh my God. Look at this mushroom. You guys, these are my mushroom logs that I forgot to harvest. Look at this mushroom on there. Oh my God. I think it's cremini. Obviously, I'm not going to eat it. But look at that mushroom that I grew. Holy smokes. How nice it would have been if I had remembered to check on these. I totally forgot about them. Look at that. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. Anyway, the hornbeams are a nice, again, this is Carpina specialist. This is European hornbeam. But the hornbeams are, if you have to go with a deciduous tree or you want to go with a deciduous tree, but you're looking for screening, sometimes one of these trees, and one of you in the comments a couple weeks ago used the right word for this, which I always forget. Maybe I'll throw it on the screen here. The term for trees that hold their leaves through winter, deciduous trees. Anyway, it still provides some screening and interest, even though it is a deciduous tree. Asters are still kind of moved on to their next phase here, which are these, now the seed head turned into these little fluffy white puff balls, which presumably reseed around. Look at that. That's pretty interesting. And then always sedum. I always come back to stonecrop sedum as an excellent winter interest. Here's autumn joy right here, which is always great. And these are great because they're like little platforms for the snow to land on. Beautiful with snow. If you live in a spot that gets snow, always leave your sedum standing. It's so good. And then, of course, here I am standing in front of the almighty limelight, which, again, if we're talking about plants that hold snow in a really beautiful way, limelight is right up there. I will say some people prune theirs off because they're worried that snow loads are going to break branches, which is a good idea if that's an issue. I have to say, I've never had that happen. If I see that a branch is bending really, really strongly, I will go in there and prune it in winter, but I have to say I can't remember the last time I've done that. Now, granted, these are really, this one in particular is a very established limelight, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 18 years old, probably. So, and this one has always had very stiff stems. It's never suffered from saggy limelight stem syndrome. So it's not really an issue here at all. If it does lean over too much, I just prune it then. I can always, you know, I'm always looking for something to do in winter anyway, so no problem on that. All right, that is it. Just a quick kind of starting point even to pay attention to how some of the things are going to look in this garden as we go through winter so that we can identify some really outstanding performers from a winter growing perspective as well. Just a couple of programming notes for you guys. First of all, we're going to have winter containers video up shortly here. We will have, there's another video, I hope I can get it out this week. It's going to take a little bit of time. I think it's going to be quite a fun take on looking at some garden design things. And also, I'm speaking at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show in February. That's out in Seattle. I speak on Thursday on the Epic Gardening stage, main stage, and or it's the Epic Gardening Small Space stage, they're calling it, something like that. And Friday, I'm also speaking. So if people are going out there and planning on being out there, if there's enough of us and we want to talk about, I don't know, doing a get together or something while I'm out there, we could do that. So leave a comment about that or drop me a note and we can talk about something if there's a group of people going out there. Anyway, I'm looking forward to going to that show. I've not been to it before. I think from a speaking gig standpoint, it's supposed to be very fun. That's actually why I decided to apply to speak at that one this year, because I've been told by my garden speaker friends that it's a blast. Plus, I mean, it's February, might as well get out of Wisconsin, right? So I am looking forward to that, but also I've been told it's just a fabulous, inspirational show to attend as well, and a little bit of a different take than some of the other flower shows that are out there. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. Do let me know if you're coming, and if you guys would have any interest in, I don't know, meet for a coffee or something. I don't even know. We'll figure it out. All right, have a great day in your garden. I hope everything's going great with you guys, and we'll be seeing you very soon.